from Rain to Hate It, and you're listening to Underground Opalines.
Hey man, which one am I talking to?
Jeff, what's up, dude?
Okay. Let's see here.
Formerly of Black Moon Cult.
Oh, I know.
So yeah, we got Dave, Jeff, and bass player.
Okay.
Sean.
Okay. Well, what is it you want to tell me about today?
Well, we got a new album incoming. We're working on it right now. It's been a couple months in the making, and pretty excited about it.
Well, from what I'm hearing of it, I think he might have topped your last album.
We're hoping for it. Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
we had fun on the last album for sure. It was a little bit of a different lineup in the band. It was just a 3-piece.
Right.
So adding that, I think, extra layer of guitar work and vocals and stuff, it's making a difference.
So everybody, tell me your jobs in the band real quick.
All right, I'm Sean. I'm the bass player.
Jeff on the drums.
I'm Dave. I do guitar, and missing in action tonight is Andy, also guitar and vocals.
Oh, he was at Strum Around that night, right?
Yeah,
he was. Yeah, I talked to him for a while too. I think I talked to everybody there. Man, I missed that place already.
Yep, and Andy will talk your ear off. That's for sure. I guarantee you talk to him.
Yeah. Yeah. What you calling the new album? Or do you have a name yet?
We're still hammering it out, actually.
I got some tentative ideas.
Yeah, throwing around the idea of 1990X, perhaps, or something along the lines of a communication breakdown. We don't know yet. We're just kind of throwing around themes and concepts and stuff.
If you know, I think was one.
Yeah.
Kind of like if you know, you know, but if you know. Yeah. Throw a little cryptic stuff in the background of the album and see if people can figure it out.
Mm-hmm. See, your all songs actually seem to have meaning. There's an honesty there, you know what I mean? And not everybody's songs do, like my own. Mine don't mean shit. They're just funny.
Yeah, I think there's a time and a place for all of that.
Well, that does have meaning then. If you make people laugh, or at very least, if you make yourself laugh, then it has meaning.
It meant a lot to me when I saw you live when we were there last. It was a good set. It was funny.
Well, thank you. You guys were not taking anything away from anybody else, but Wexford was my favorite act that night. And
thank you.
Might even edit that part out just so I don't upset anybody.
That's
no,
right.
We appreciate it. And believe it or not, I believe that was our second show with this current lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it was early in our current lineup, so we believe that we've just been getting better and better over the last few months. So we have high hopes. We're feeling good about things.
Go ahead. Somebody's saying something.
I was saying is that compared to what we were then to now, I'm seeing things come out of these bandmates, these members, sonically that were there before, and it's kind of fun pushing their envelopes a little bit and seeing what comes out.
He likes pushing the members.
Yeah.
So Sean here. Sorry. So Sean here, actually, he wears a couple of hats. He is a producer at Mohawk Studio here in Sandusky, And so
Oh,
he
wow.
does a lot. He does a lot of recording and producing of bands. As a matter of fact, Jeff, they recorded their album with Sean.
Right. Last year.
Dude, and it was so cool, like getting to play in this massive room, like setting up the drums right in the middle of it and like doing the live off the old school style recording. Sounded amazing.
Yeah, it's fun.
So having a producer in the band is admittedly pretty fun because you know, we come with these ideas, we put some ideas on tape, and what comes out is just magic. So it's pretty cool. He's good at what he does.
I don't like calling myself a producer anymore. I like using the word catalyst.
Yeah.
I seriously, I like being in a room with people at the same ilk, and they're got a common goal, but everyone's on a different path. How do we get them on somewhat the same highway? And that's kind of more of the job I'm at.
Yeah.
And if he's doing his job, right, sometimes I call him an asshole instead of a catalyst.
100%.
Also, pretty convenient. We're having a good producer in your band or catalyst in your band.
Mighty convenient indeed.
Well, I mean, you think about it. He's working with all these other bands, but he's in your band now. You know?
Right?
Yeah, it changes the game.
I'm sure it wasn't his first offer or anything like that.
Yeah, it's not my first. This ain't my first rodeo.
Dude, he's literally in like 20 bands. It's a running joke. We're trying to tell him to cool it. Like, I yelled at him the other night. We had a jam night, and I was like, Sean, you cannot be in every band, because he was trying to join another band.
I really actually wasn't. I mean, I was,
but yeah.
The problem is, I go up there and we freestyle and have fun and get in the groove, and then they approach you afterwards, going, "So, what's your schedule like for next month?"
Learn no. I've had to say no a few times. He's like, sorry, I'm busy, dude.
I get it. I do, man. The amount of cover bands that approach me in Louisville is like ungodly. Is like, and because they know I can be a bit of a sellout. They say, hey, I don't want to be in a cover band, believe me. But it's fun sometimes. But like they know, like, well, we'll pay you, and I'll be like, well, how much?
Yeah,
you know?
there you go. Now you're talking.
Up here, the cover band circuit's very, very lucrative.
Oh yeah,
which is one of the reasons I don't think that music as a scene of bands helping each other is an dominant, because up here you can actually be in several cover bands and pay all your bills.
Yeah.
But what that also means is that you have competition, and if you start, what a scene does, what I think a scene really reacts with is how bands help each other out, and they involve each other. And if I can't make the gig, or we got to cancel, we find a band that we trust that can handle it, so we don't look bad, right? Well,
right.
Down to competition. If you do that, they may take that gig.
Yeah.
Venues up here don't care. A lot of cover band venues, all they care about, you pack the house, you keep the gig. And so really what it does, it puts in a little bit of a lot of original music is paid for by bands, by people who are in cover bands. So I think it kind of helps. It subverts the foundation of what things are up here. So it's a little bit more of a challenge to have a scene that is everyone's on the same page.
Did you just say a scene full of a bunch of sellouts?
Pretty much. I mean, cover bands for me paid the bills for the studio as I was building it for 15 years.
I am actively seeking a cover band so that I don't have to stack bags of asphalt all day.
Named the Sandusky Sellouts.
Up here, every gig, if you're in a cover band.
Sandtown Sellouts, dude. I love it. Let's run it. Hey, who wants to start Sandtown Sellouts with me?
If between Toledo, Cleveland, and Columbus in this little triangle, you're gonna make $100 per person per night.
Yeah,
easy peasy.
Oh, yeah.
And you can, if you're good and you go and really sell out, you're playing, Wednesday through Sunday.
Yeah,
and you can rent and pay for stuff and get things done that way. And I think it's that competitiveness, I think, really goes against having a decent scene or having an economy that can support a scene. And
then there's Wexford, and we make literally dozens of dollars over the history of our band. We've made dozens of dollars.
Yeah, man. Well, you got paid dozens of dollars, and then Then you had to buy gas and
Exactly.
hotel room or whatever. I know, man.
There's a whole sector of the budget just for feeding me.
Well, tell me about Change Your Mind. Let's hear the story behind it.
So, yeah, I guess I put the lyrics to that. Admittedly, lyrics for me, I've discussed this. It's a difficult one for me.
I pressed a button.
That was
Go ahead,
it.
sorry.
Yeah. No, yeah, I almost have to put myself I either have to write, like you said, just stupid, silly, funny songs, or I feel like I'm taking myself too seriously. And so I almost have to like leave my own persona and put myself in an invented scenario. And so kind of like change your mind for me is it's kind of my um, invented story of someone who is in my life, maybe a child who's just not taking good advice at all, and they're pressing forward in their life, taking this horrible advice, making, and you just want to see them come around and do the right thing.
Right. That one's got the heart drawn by it. Which means I liked it a lot.
Oh, nice.
It's good. That's
Perfect.
hopefully the first song in the album.
Yeah, I think it has that potential.
Hopefully.
The classic opener.
Yeah.
Moving on. What's the story behind Moving On?
Yeah, again, that's a Dave lyric as well, and that's more of a maybe a relationship that's gone over the years in one way or another, and you're just having a hard time relationship, and you're trying to reach out to the other person and figure out how to deal with it.
All right. And go ahead if you had something to add.
I think that's good. Cool.
Okay. And the King song you sent me earlier, Scent of Maple,
Ah, yeah.
or at least
Andy.
that's the one I was like, yeah, that's badass.
It
was
is.
like, that's fucking badass, man.
Yeah,
Tell me
that's
me
an
about
Andy. That's an Andy's lyric, so I can't. Sadly, I can't comment much on the
Dude,
lyrics.
Andy's lyrics are so wild because I know what he means, but I have no idea what he
So
means.
I can speculate on what he's clued people in, so that you can research this, listeners out there. But if you listen closely to it, it's to him, it's about like what's around you, and I think he may have pinned it during COVID.
He did, so I think it's like some crap like COVID.
Yeah,
Kind of a song.
together, like all in one piece, and
Man.
I that resonates with me a lot. I know I'm pretty sure with these guys too.
That's a really incredible song.
And it just jams.
Oh.
Like when
man.
that we go from real quiet, peaceful, melodic, and then that slow jam hits. It hits nice.
So we sent him 3
We sent those.
of how many?
That's 3 of 11.
Okay,
Oh wow.
and they all hit as hard, if not harder, lyrically, emotionally, and physically, and volume as those 3 you got.
Man.
They're
If not
fun
better,
to
if not
play.
more.
They're
And
so fun to play.
I bet. I can't wait to see them live because I've seen you all live, so I know you're a really great live band, and I think you're one of those bands that might not be able to capture in a studio what you do on stage, and like the other one of those things. Well, the other one of those things. I hope I'm not being insulting because it's not. It's meant as a
No,
compliment.
not at all.
If we end up doing it with this album, then watch out, because this one is going to take us. This one has you heard it. The sound is giant, and it gets even. That's not even fully mastered.
And that's kind of where we were at after the first album. We, and you have a copy of that, and the tracks are all
Yes, I
out there
do.
on social media and everything. And I think it turned out, well. It sounds good, but I 100% agree with what you said. It didn't capture as well what we're doing on stage and live, and so that's kind of number two, is to try to capture that lightning in a bottle a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So fingers crossed we'll get closer.
And it
Oh,
was kind of
man.
difficult for Black Moon Cult to try and capture that as well. I definitely
Yeah.
remember feeling a bit of a disconnect when we were walking away from the recording session the first night, but then when we straightened everything out the next day, it made a lot more sense.
Oh, yeah. Well, my next question will be the Get Out lyric video. Who made that? Because it's badass.
I agree with that. You know what? That's some guy. That's actually some guy. I think he was
Oh,
in.
I thought you were gonna say I agree with that because it was my idea.
It was. No,
I'm like,
it was
yes,
only my idea
own it.
that I paid
love it.
I paid some guy on Fiverr to make a
Yeah.
lyric for us, and I'd looked at his material earlier. I'd have to look up who he is, but he's in some Asian, Indonesian country. I don't even remember where. Fantastic work. I can get you a name. But
Oh, man.
it turned out great.
Yeah, that's really great, man. I thought maybe you guys did it yourselves. I was going to say, man, you need to be selling that service.
Man, I wish, because I actually thought about reaching out to him, for
Yeah.
a bunch more tracks on this next album.
I have no
I think
problem
you
with
should.
that. I think there's some ideas I have as well that I learned from that lyric video because I see how he laid it out, and I would only change up a little bit as far as moving forward. It reminds me of early 2000s good indie rock as far as from a visual standpoint, in my opinion.
Yeah. Now, tell me about Less Than Alone.
Oof.
Mm.
Oof.
That is also an Andy's.
Oh, okay. All right.
I wish he was here
What's-
because I know it's deep.
What's interesting?
Yeah.
I know that's one of our most requested tracks live. We
I don't even
stopped.
play it right.
We even stopped. Well, we stopped playing it. We stopped playing it for a minute when we started bringing new songs in. And last like 2 shows, direct a request from the crowd before we going up, play that song.
Yeah.
So that's got some stuff behind it, and we want to encourage those listening to pull it up on Spotify and look at the lyrics and what does it mean for you. I think that's a big Andy philosophy is not necessarily having the listener identify with him, but hopefully the listener identifying with themselves because he's talking about something that is relatable.
If it means anything, to me, I feel like I know like the heart of what that song is. I've definitely felt like just a little less than alone. I know what he means by that. I've been in a relationship where it was like very one-sided. I know a lot of us all have, and I think that's probably the heart of the meaning of that song.
My thing that like looking at this from a 30,000 foot view as a producer, and producing guitar tones and just the vibe of what we're doing was interesting for me is that all these songs either they all resonate with me in a different way than the person who wrote them is intending to be. They all hit me going into it. So my childhood and a lot of my musical formative years was the 90s, and the sentimental side of that is alive and well inside of me. But I produce a lot of different types of music. I have a lot of eras of my life where certain music had importance versus others, and a lot of the thematic stuff that we have throughout this 11 song album for me is almost all those little punk rock and rock moments and alternative rock moments that made me want to get in this business in the first place. And so you're going to hear a lot of kind of vibes that you can't quite put your finger on, like, that puts me right back in this era of something.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I think Andy is putting you in the place of 2020 and Cinnamon Maple. Less Alone, putting you in a place of a vibe of exactly that. You know, you're with somebody, but you're still not there. They're not there. You're kind of in the room with something that is not communicating you on a meaningful basis. So for me, it's going through divorce.
Wow.
That's from my standpoint. And you know, Andy's like, this is where I sang it from. I'm like metaphorically plugging my ears, going nah 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 nah.
Yeah. No, this one's.
I'm like I'm absorbing it my own way. So it does. You'll see me singing along these songs on stage, and because they are hitting me in a different way than anyone else, and I love that about these songs.
Well, guys, I can't wait to see you live again, man. So tell me some shows. You got some shows coming up yet or no?
We've just done actually nothing on the books right this minute. We said we're going to finish this album up and then really start to get the live performances cranking out.
It's interesting, these last like 2 or 3 shows we've been doing, they're really becoming kind of vetting, at least for me on bass.
Yeah.
I vet parts for the album and based on how it feels with us live, and I'll immediately after the show come up here and lay my bass part down. I never told you that, Dave, but after we played them, I would come up here and try to at least capture a little bit what was in my head.
Well, it seems to be working.
I've been working out backup vocals too, singing there. And
Right.
a couple of people calling me out like, hey, why don't you have a microphone back there? I see you singing. It's like, yeah, I didn't think to ask anybody. I'm still working stuff out.
So I think it's a I've been in bands that used to do that during sound check and vet some stuff, but live and still having enough confidence that I don't have to look at somebody to know where I need to pick back up. But I'm actually did the night before, a line or I'm going to a different chord than before. But that's a hallmark of just one hell of a tight band, I think, and I feel proud to be a part of it.
That is all our time we have for now. Thank you for listening to Undergroundopolis. Remember, we do this every Wednesday night, bringing you new and exciting artists every week. Be sure to hit up their websites and social media and stream or download their music. If you like this show, please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, any streaming platform, and leave us a review as well. I'm your host, Rob Lyon, signing off.